Good morning, trend traders. This is Dennis Wilborn with the Active Trend Traders. Hey, I've been getting a lot of questions lately about how to set up thinkorswim charts, and in particular my particular setups. And I just wanted to give a real quick overview this morning, showing how to get started in setting up your charts. Part of it is just you learn by experimenting, but I wanted to chat with you just real briefly about that. Remember that everything you hear here is for training purposes only, and we again always reiterate back, we're not going to be talking about trading today, but if you are discovering the active trend trading system or any other system, make sure that you paper trade that first before risking personal capital. Well, when you download the thinkorswim trading platform, it comes basically with a chart, which and the chart looks a lot like this over here. Let me get my drawing tools up real quick. Here they come. And as you can see, there's not much to look at here. It's got a little bit of information across the board and all that kind of stuff. And so the question that I get often is, well, how do you take this basic chart and turn it into what my charts look like? Basically, nice colored background, get rid of a lot of the other stuff that is or isn't needed. How do you make them look like this? And as you can see, as you look, let's go to the real live charts. Here we go. Live charts. When you unpack the box with your thinkorswim application in it, your charts look a lot like this, as you can see. Typically a standard bar chart. You've got volume on the bottom. You've got the name of the company highlighted here. And how do you take this and turn it from a chart like this into a chart like I showed you earlier? Well, let's take a look at some of the things you can do. The big thing that to remember, and let me is these little buttons up here are where you go to start changing and modifying your particular chart. The test tube with the drops coming out of it is for studies, and the one right next to it is a little wrench. It may not look like a little wrench, but it is a little wrench. And as you can see, I saved my studies. Here's a whole list of studies that I have maintained on my own. The one I in particular like is my momentum up study, which is a daily chart, and I have my intraday momentum studies already saved. And when I click over to those, it will convert into. But let's see what happens when we hit this little. You hit the little wrench. This chart, this drop down or pop up pops up, and then you can start setting and taking care of various things on the chart to make it look better or to meet your eye better. One is I have to ask myself, okay, do I want this company logo here? And some company logos are absolutely huge, and so I'm going to say no, and I click here and I apply, and bingo, the company logo is no longer up here in the left hand corner. I'll back through that. There it is. Now it is gone. Now let's say I want to, this is the basic general setting, and so I can tell it I want to show my studies. I want to highlight my studies by hovering. I set my time here. I set my time in down here, so that that's what reflects on the application for me. Do I want to show high-low bubbles? And I can basically set anything in here. Then I go to my price axis, which is this right-hand axis over here, and I can set in here, do I want to fit the high and low for the particular time period? Do I want to fit my orders? Do I want to fit the alerts, fit studies? And oftentimes I will get rid of these fit the studies and all kind of stuff because I want to see a larger picture. And then I think one of the areas where a lot of people you can expand the area, because as you can see right now, you're right up against the hard right edge on this chart. So if I want to expand this level, I can shift up and shift down a certain percentage. I'll just go for 10% here. And then I apply that, and that shifts my chart. As you can see, that shifts my chart either up or down. Do I want to use log scale? Yes, I do. I apply that, and then it puts me back into a log scale. Do I want to enable the left axis? Only when I'm doing comparisons, but I'll leave it there for the time being. Then I go to the time axis. Again, this particular chart is the time is 1 year based on a daily. You have a choice between longer periods. I can go, let's say I want to go 4 years. And I apply that, and that shrinks my chart down dramatically. And but one of the things that I like is then, let's say I'm only interested in these last few years, I just expand that section, and that's what's highlighted. And then there's a, so let's go back here to our little wrench. There's our little wrench. We're on price action. We're on time axis. What happens if I don't want to be up against the hard right edge? Well, I can go in here and I can either pick a pre-selected amount of time where it will actually bounce my chart back over, which is a good thing. But let's say I want, I don't like 10, I don't like, what's the other option here, 10 or 50, but I like 15. I choose 15, I apply it, and it backs it up even more for me. So now I can project out here with my, if I want to do a drawing, I can now project from here across out this way. And we won't get into today about how to work with your trend lines, but with the trend lines, if you want to extend, you can extend it to the right, to the left. So I want to go to the right. There it goes. So let's go back to our wrench. And this was time axis, 4 years, 15, and I can also have it show options. What you see right now is the option expiration dates. And let's say I don't want to show my option expiration dates. I come over here and I can choose under options, show open interest, show theoretical value, show volume on the chart, extended sessions. These are good sometimes if you're working with the intraday chart. Let's see. Let's say I don't want to know about options. I don't want it to necessarily expand a fit, and so if I click this, it didn't get rid of that line. Perhaps this is where the experimenting goes in. Here we go, show expiration Friday. If I click that, there we go. The expiration Fridays are gone. Quick reference if you want to basically bounce between intraday chart, weekly chart, daily chart. Other appearances. I like candlesticks, and it's in this point that I click here. I choose my candles. Now I can choose here whether to fill the up candles. I do like the up candles filled, and so I can apply that, and there. Now I have all my candlesticks filled, and then there's this little trick down here, which is Let me go back through that one more time. Typically it opens up like this. I want to go to common. Common is how you can preset, you can choose a color for your cursor. So you want a red cursor. And you can also here choose your background. You can go here to just pick one of the standards, and it shows you a preview of what that standard will look like. Well, let's say you're really you want to really change it up a lot, and you click down here on select, and then you can actually go in here and choose let's say you want your background to be more purplish. Okay, and there you go, you can get a purple. Let's say, which is kind of dark, and let's go back here, choose again. And you can also go into this area here, and you can actually set a custom, totally custom amount saturation. You can set a custom amount of just exactly what you want your background to look like. You can set a transparency, and so let's choose this one and see what that looks like. I don't particularly like that one, but that's the way you would basically set up your color. Now let's go to something that I tend to use a little bit more, which is the kind of that. There you go. I like the lavender color. I apply that, and bam, it applies to my charts. Then we get into equities. Equities are you can do a couple of things with that. If you want to know, see this little symbol down here shows you when the projected earnings are. But if I don't want to know that, I can just click that off by say don't show the corporate actions. You can also, if there's any news that's out, CNBC videos, show options, excuse me, and you can just pick and choose exactly what you want to show up. And so that covers that, and this little peacock looking thing means that there was some kind of news out on Tesla today. Now I can actually right click on this, or maybe it's left click. Nope. So I could right click this and delete that. Looks like I cannot, so I have to go back to my wrench. I go back to my appearance, equities, and I say I don't care what CNBC says, and click that, and it's gone. But eventually, by experimenting with these, and I'll show you a couple of tricks on the intraday charts. I also have I watch mine in two, a intraday and a daily, or a daily and a weekly, and it's in the grids. You just choose the grids, and you can upload the studies that you want. Now I have here's my daily intraday grid. I click on that, and hopefully, it worked. It pops up with this, and it shows each one of these has a study of its own. I've got a intraday chart over here, and then some folks were asking, well, what do you do down here on the bottom? Because some of them were having charts that look like this and like this. How do you get these adjusted? Well, it's very simple. You just basically grab the top one, slide it down, and then you have equal. But I've gone through all the things that I did on the primary chart to this to show the extension and get the chart set in the middle of the grid. So that's basically it. One of the other things people have asked is about studies. And so on the chart itself, you can edit your studies or import your studies. And this pops up, pop-up comes up, and some of the ones have asked me about this momentum crossover. It is basically what shows up. I show momentum on my lower chart, but also I have these arrows, which reflect, and all those are is basically saying at this point the momentum crossed the zero line has dropped down. At this point, this green arrow, the momentum has crossed the zero line, moving back up. And it's very easy to import those into your study set. They're simply called momentum, crossover, and you have to import two of them, one for positive to negative and the other one for negative to positive. You look for the little gear on the side, and then you basically can set it up to look just like this. The length is 12 periods. The signal is auto, conditional, and what it does is it paints a, this is from positive to negative, and so what it does is it paints a that red arrow, and you set it up to show study, show plot, show title. You can choose between Boolean, numerical, but this is auto. Conditional, we don't have to worry about. Style, and then that should pop up the arrow for you. Let's see, make sure I didn't change anything, so my arrows should be still showing up. So I hope it gives you a little peek into how to get your charts set up. And the fun thing about it is just experiment with it. Experiment with it a little bit once you get the basic understanding, and then set your charts up. Try to keep them as clean as possible, and so that you can see what the price action is and make the right decisions. So with that, I'll say good afternoon, or it's still morning. Good morning. We will catch you. Hopefully you can tune in on the to the Market Stock Talk this afternoon. And as always, be patient. Opportunity will come. And we have some specials going on through the rest of this month with regarding our midweek market sanity check. We had an awesome Wednesday this past week talking about market cycles. Had a great presenter. And so if you have any want to get additional information, just shoot me an email. And with that, trade wisely, trade profitably. Have a great Memorial Day.